Today, we're going to be talking about how you can sign 3 to 6 new customers within the next 30 days for your marketing agency, selling SEO, Google PPC, website design, and other digital marketing packages to local service businesses. All right. Now, let me share my screen and let's get this going. So again, there's a few things we're talking about here, and there's a few things that this is not. One, we're going to talk about how to do this without running ads, without relying on referrals, or without creating content. Because ads take money, referrals are inconsistent, and creating content takes a lot of time before you ever start to see results. Here, I'm going to show you a system that's going to get you customers within the next 30 days if you do it right. And before we even get into the system, I'm going to show to you that this thing does work, because we've been doing it for the last 6 years for our clients who are exactly like you, selling the same offerings, selling the same packages to the same people at the same price point or at similar price point, because obviously I don't know all of your price points. So here's an example, a very recent one. One of our clients, they closed 3 people actually. So they signed a customer from the first lead we sent them, and we usually start sending leads to people within 2 weeks of them starting with us. So close their first customer. Then there's another one that was likely to close in the next few days. 3 out of 4 closed. So again, read through this last screenshot. A little bit more about myself so that you're incentivized to listen. My name is Atishay Jain. I'm the founder of Hyperke. You can go to the website hyperke.com. And in the last 6 years, we've helped over 50 marketing agencies consistently sign customers by building this exact system for them. And when you do something for like 6 years and you're getting results, we won awards. We were, one of the top 1% agencies doing cold outreach, setting appointments with customers. We send over 2.5 million cold emails every month, booking about 1,000-ish appointments for our clients, across all of our clients. And more recently, this is just personal. I was actually also invited to give a TED talk about this stuff. So if you want, you can Google it up. And if you want to look at some of the results we've had, just go to the website. You'll see a bunch of video testimonials. We have over a dozen video testimonials from different agency owners, just like yourselves. You might even recognize some of them because, Bradley here, he's big in this space. You have Jeremy here, who's also, quite popular if you're familiar with Bradley. So feel free to go through all of this. But for today, I just want to give you as much value as possible on this call, because I want to make sure this time you go back from this call, not just with ideas, with vague concepts, but with actual actionables that you have the conviction in, that will work because I've shown you enough proof, and stuff that you can do that you don't have to put off for several days. Because I've been on these calls, right? I've been on and I've paid for webinars, and all I get from those webinars is just high level stuff. You need to be good at business. You need to be hustling. You need to be, making better hires. You need to be making better decisions. So everybody knows that. You've probably heard that advice from myself and, from several others. So I don't want to be giving you the same advice. Instead, I want to be covering really tactical information, get really into the weeds, show you exactly how we do things, give you templates, give you insider tips, give you stuff that you can copy, paste, and implement today and start to get results. So all I ask from you is please be in a quiet space. If you're not in a quiet space, if you're in the car, if you're outside, please mute your mics, and please take notes, because there's going to be a lot of very, very dense information inside this document or in this webinar, and you don't want to miss it, right? Now, what is this not going to be about? And I believe this is more important to establish than establishing what this is about. So I'm not going to tell you, you must have all heard of Alex Hormozy by now. I'm not going to tell you that you need to come up with crazy Hormozy style offers where you say, I'm going to get you tell your customers, I'll bring you 1 million leads, or I will refund your money and walk your dog for free. Those kinds of offers, not only are they counterproductive, they are hard to deliver on. They set the wrong expectation, and they're also massively overdone. So you don't have to do that. You don't have to send a gazillion emails using an SMTP server or go high level. I'm not going to tell you that you have to hustle and send manual DMs on Instagram every day or Facebook DMs. And I'm not going to tell you to just book calls from wherever possible and sit on those calls talking to unqualified prospects who don't care about what you do, don't have the money to spend with you, and will just never buy anything from you. What you do need is you need to know your target audience. You need to have a clear offering that you're selling that they want and that they are willing to pay for. You need to have a cost-effective mechanism to put your offer in front of your target audience and to filter out the qualified and the interested prospects to meet you for your next steps. Then you need to understand what got them interested in the first place and you need to position your solution as the answer to all of their prayers. And after all of this is done, you need to give them the price. Your price needs to point to a fair value exchange. All of sales is always about a fair value exchange. You bring your solution to the table, they bring money. If you're able to convince them that the amount of money they're giving to you is fair when compared to the value you're bringing, or if you're able to convince them that they're getting a really good deal because you're bringing $100,000 worth of value and you're only charging them $10,000 for it, that is when a prospect will run after you. They will want to give their money to you, right? That's why all of these steps are important, because you want to be talking to one specific person, solving their specific challenges before you give them a price. And obviously, after you've given them the price, you need to make sure there's some follow-up process in place, because sometimes people get sticker shock, sometimes people just get cold feet, they are indecisive. So it's your job to push them to make the right decision for their business. So I'm going to go through all of this. I'm not going to tell you, we will just do one of these things. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do all of this, but this is what we're covering. And again, this system will not work if you're an agency that has no social proof, that's just starting out. This system will not work for you. The whole premise here is that we will help you clone your top 3 clients. So you need to have at least 3 clients that you've gotten great results for, where you have case studies, you have outcomes that you can talk about, and then that is what we use to get you more customers. If you have 0 clients right now, you're a bit too early. The system will not work for you. Your first focus should be on finding those first 3 customers, and you can do that by just tapping into your network or asking for referrals. It's not hard to find 3 customers. If you can't find 3 customers from your network, you can go to these 3 random businesses that you think are lacking with their marketing and offer to work for them for free. Just tell them, I'm going to get you these, I'm going to do SEO for you. It's going to get you more leads. I'm going to do it for free if at the end of 3 months, you can give me a testimonial. And sure, it's going to cost you time, some time investment up front. But if you can get 3 testimonials from 3 different customers, I promise you it's going to be so much worth the while. You're going to make so much more money after you have 3 more case studies. So that's the premise. If you don't have them, please go get them. Everything from this point on is going to talk about how to maximize the value from those 3 case studies. So let's dive right in. We're going to talk about the 4 steps that you need to take to convert strangers into paying customers. And this is just a screenshot of my calendar from last week. All of these light blue ones, they're all sales calls. You see, some of them are smaller, some of them are larger calls. But I had 25 sales calls last week, which is an average of 5 calls per day. And then this also includes some follow-ups, which I'm not counting, but 25 sales calls in a week. And of those, I ended up signing 3 customers within the week, and I have several follow-ups scheduled. So that's what your calendar should be looking like if you want to grow your business. And if you don't have the time to do this, you can always bring on a salesperson. But these are the kinds of results that are possible with the process that I'm going to show you. So before you start, these are the foundations, right? This is the first thing you need to get done. So you need to first focus on your target audience. You need to pick one industry segment or one geography that you will sign clients from. Again, you might have worked with several. Maybe you don't know what industry to pick. That's okay. You don't have to commit to a decision and then stick to it for life. Just pick one industry that you think, is going to be the easiest to sign clients from. Just look at your 3 case studies. If 2 of those are from one industry, go with that industry. If all 3 of them are from one industry, which is ideal, if you're going to go and if you fall into the category where you don't have case studies, I would suggest go to 3 businesses within the same industry and work for them and get case studies from them. So pick one industry segment, and if you cannot pick an industry segment, just pick one geography, maybe your town, maybe your state, and choose to go after them. Willfully constrain yourself to only go after those businesses. The next thing is you need to have a clear offering and you need social proof. So your case studies are the social proof. Again, when it comes to social proof, don't just talk about things like we helped this business rank number 1 within 2 months. No, you don't want to talk about traffic. You don't want to talk about competitors. You don't want to talk about rankings. You don't want to talk about first page of Google. The only thing that matters with your case studies is the quantifiable outcomes that your customers want. So all of your customers, and I've been helping agencies sell to local businesses for the last 6 years, all of them, the only thing they care about is more patients. If it's a doctor, more patients. If it's a plumber, more service calls, more jobs. If it's a roofing company, more jobs, more commercial jobs, or more residential jobs. They just want their phone ringing more often so that they get more people in the door and they make more money. So your case studies should be focused on that outcome. And if you don't have those specific numbers, let's say some of your clients don't tell you how much money they make from working with you, you can extrapolate. If you do a website for someone, if you're doing SEO, you can track the number of form fills they get, right? So now all you need is how many of those form fills convert into actual appointments, how many of those appointments convert into actual jobs, and you can do the math. Now, the ideal situation is if you have all of the information where you know exactly how much money a business is able to make as a result of your efforts. If you don't have that, you can take it a notch down. You can talk about how many qualified leads you're getting them. And this can be based off of the form fills, right? And you can also talk about how many of your form fills convert into actual in-person appointments. Say you're working with a doctor, let's say your target audience is dentists. Now, you're getting them 50 form fills a month. Of those 50, 20 are bogus, 20 aren't really the correct kind of information. Now you can say I'm getting you 30 dental clear aligner leads. Let's say you're only targeting clear aligner, Invisalign patients. So I'm getting you 30 clear aligner leads every month. Let's say you speak to the dentist, they say, oh, you know what, we had around 20 extra appointments. Now, most dentists, most local businesses are terrible at tracking the source for their appointments, right? So you will never, unless you're working with a large established business, you will not find out how many of their leads came from SEO, how many of them came through their own network. But you can always look at the data that's available to you and use that as a result. This is going to be important. And if you have a bunch of clients, you might have to ask your account managers to go through all of their client results and get you these numbers. But this social proof is going to be critical to getting results from the system. That is why I emphasize all of this so much. Your social proof is going to be your offer, right? Remember, I told you I'm not going to ask you to make crazy guarantees. I know as SEOs, it's hard for you to make guarantees. You're setting yourself up for failure because Google could change the algorithm tomorrow. No one can really guarantee results as an SEO unless you're targeting super easy keywords that are not competitive. Or if you have a blue ocean, a client that's in a blue ocean, that's different. So your social proof is going to be your offer. And I'm going to show you exactly how that translates into actual scripts. I'm going to go into that when we're talking tactics, but make sure you have a clear offering and social proof here. In fact, let me give you an example so we have something here. So examples of a good case study are we help dentist or, we help client get outcome they care about. This is the format you want all your social proof to be in. We help client get outcome they care about within time frame without hard thing to do. So how this translates is we helped XYZ Dental get 25 clear aligner leads in the last month without spending a penny on our Google Ads, right? Another example would be we helped ABC Roofing get 45 residential jobs last month without spending a penny on Google Ads, because I've used that in the previous example. I'm going to say that translate into roughly 300K in pipeline or revenue. I'm obviously making this up on the spot, but this is what it'll look like. This is how specific your case studies should be. If you can, you can also mention the city they are in. So let's say Jacksonville. And ABC Roofing from Jacksonville get 45 residential jobs, XYZ Dental from Manhattan get 25 clear aligner inquiries. When you're targeting local businesses, the city can be important because this is what makes them feel that you understand them or that you worked with companies similar to them. Because sometimes, you're targeting a roofing company, they'll say, oh, you've done that all the way in Vegas or in San Diego, in the Bay Area. And that market is very different from where I am at. So if you can tell people that this is the city where I got results, that's going to help tilt the scale in your favor. That's also why I said you can either pick an industry segment or you can pick a geography when it comes to your target audience. So let's say you either choose to work with all the roofing business all over the country, or you choose to work with all businesses within your state, within Florida, let's say. So that's an example of your social proof. Now your offer can just be something like this. Offer is going to be, we could help you get similar results. That's all. So now you don't have to promise a guarantee. You're not guaranteeing anything. You're not promising crazy outcomes. You're not exposing yourself to unreasonable risk by telling people that you're going to refund their money or you're going to offer them a gift card or whatever. All you're saying is, look, we've done great work for this other company. We can do something similar for you. So this is the key. These are the foundations. Once you have these dialed in, the next step is putting this in front of your target customers and doing it cost effectively. I say cost effectively and quickly, right? Because you don't want to, ads are expensive. That's the reason we run ads for some of our clients and even for ourselves. But I don't recommend ads to everybody because it's not easy to get results with ads, right? For some industries, for some geographies, like if you're in New York, ads are going to kill you. It's going to be super. Your cost per click is going to be through the roof. So we want something that's cost effective, that can be done at scale consistently without burning a hole in your pocket. And that's going to get you results right now. Unlike content, we want results right now. Content can take 3 to 6 months to get results. You want to get results right now, right? So here's a system that we use to book sales calls. Again, if you're not taking notes, please take notes. This is going to be very tactical. I'm going to show you our accounts. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do, how you need to do it. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat at the end of this session. I'm going to go through all of those questions as well. So the cost-effective channel that we're going to use to book calls is going to be one-to-one email, right? So we're going to do this using one-to-one automated email, and your goal is to get 1 lead for every 500 prospects contact. So the key thing here is this is not bulk email spam. This is not setting up SMTP servers, sending millions of emails. That is not what we're doing. This is professional, personalized outreach, completely legal, no legal repercussions whatsoever. And if you ever land in a situation where clients are questioning this or your customers are questioning this, feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to show you the exact articles, the exact sections in the GDPR and the CAN spam law, all of these laws that people tend to quote where they think cold email is illegal. I'm going to give you the sections that prove otherwise. So now let's get started. So let's talk about the goals we're going for here, right? Because booking sales calls is a bit too vague. The goal is sign 3 clients, right? 3 clients. Let's say your closing rate is around 20%, which is industry average. You might think your closing rate is 50, 60, 70, 80% on referrals. If you're priced very competitively, if you have packages that are less than $500 a month, your closing rate can be much higher. One of our clients, they have a 71% closing rate because their pricing starts at $399 a month. But for most people, it's going to be around 20%, right? So with a 20% closing rate, to sign 3 clients, you'll need 15 qualified proposal calls, right? So when you present proposals 15 times, you're going to sign 3 clients. To get 15 proposal calls, you're going to need around 20 to 30 booked appointments. Again, depends on how many bookings, but you'll typically need 20 booked appointments, of which 25% will no show. So you're left with 15 proposal calls. No show or not convert on the discovery for a variety of reasons, right? So let's call 20 to 30 booked appointments. To get 20 to 30 booked appointments, you're going to need at least, so the conversion from a lead, a positive response, to a booked appointment is usually 50%. Half of your positive responses will convert into appointments. So you want to get 40 to 60 leads in a month, or leads, or let's call it positive responses, people who are 40 to 60 leads, positive responses. Now, this is the goal we're going for here. So to build this system, I'm going to talk about all of the 4 steps involved booking these sales calls, and then I'm going to talk about how to sell to. So the first piece is the infrastructure. To send cold emails, you're going to start with building an infrastructure. This is super easy. All you need to do is purchase a domain. Now, assuming you get 1 positive response for every 500 people that you contact, you're going to have to send between 20,000 to 30,000 emails per month, which is roughly 1K per day, right? So now this is how we work our way backwards. So now you need to build the infrastructure to be able to send around 1,000 emails per day. What does that look like? So I'm going to tell you exactly. So to get 40 to 60 leads or positive responses, assuming you get 1 positive response for every 500 prospects contacted, this is the average. This is what you need to be striving to get. Many people get better results than that. But if you're getting 1 lead for every 500 prospects contacted, you're going to have to send between 20,000 to 30,000 emails per month, which is roughly 1,000 emails per day. In order to do that, this is the infrastructure we're going to use, right? So we're sending cold email. Again, you don't want to send cold email from your main account. You don't want to send cold email from just one domain connected to Go High Level or to ConvertKit or to ActiveCampaign, because those emails will not land in the inbox and you will not get the results that I'm promising you here. So just take my word for it and go with the recommended infrastructure, right? The first thing you want to do is you want to go to smartlead.ai, this website right here, sign up. This tool is around starts at $39 per month. So sign up to this tool. This is what we're going to use to send all of our emails. Next, you want to purchase domains. Like I said, do not use your main domain for outreach. You're going to have to purchase additional domains. I recommend creating around 20 domains, right? So purchase 20 domains. You can use whatever registrar you want. GoDaddy, Google Domains, Namecheap, Spaceship, Dynadot, Port1. Anything and everything works. That does not really matter. Purchase those domains. Then go to Google Workspace. So just Google Workspace. That's funny. Start a free trial. Click this button. Sign up. When you start a free trial, it's going to ask you for your information. Again, fill out this information and and sign up to a Google account. Right now, if you were doing this at scale, I would recommend using a mix of Google, Outlook, and custom SMTPs. That is what we do for our clients. But if you're only doing this for yourself, if you're only planning to send like 20,000 emails per month, you're okay. It's going to be much simpler and almost as effective to just use either Google or SMTP. And if you plan to use SMTP, I recommend these two providers, aerosend.io. This costs half of what Google costs. They charge around $4 per email account, which is pretty cost effective compared to Google 7.2. Or you could use winner.app, which is even cheaper. Their pricing, I believe, is $69 a month for 50 email accounts, 10 domain slots. So basically for $130, $170 per month, you would get around 20 domain slots. And that's my recommendation to, you can choose one of these two. Winner is going to be the most cost effective. Google will always have better deliverability, better results than Aerosend or Winner. But Winner and Aerosend are going to be much easier to set up and they're going to be more cost effective. You can go with one or the other. If you're going with Winner, just bump this number up a little bit. So, instead of sending 20 to 30,000 emails per month, you're probably going to have to send like 70 to 80,000. But again, it's going to be much cheaper. You can look at this here. For $69 a month, they're going to let you send 2,500 emails per day. So you're already at a good spot. Go with either of those for the rest of this webinar. I'm going to talk about just using Google because that's the one we recommend the most. And, that's also the one where you'll need to do some of this technical setup. If you're using Winner or Aerosend, they'll take care of these records for you. Before you starting to send cold email, you want to get 3 records in place with your registrar, right? There's an SPF record, there's a DMARC record, and there's a DKIM record. So this is authentication. This is what helps the recipient's inbox put you in the primary inbox instead of sending you to spam because you're authenticating yourself. So the process is simple. Go to your DNS registrar, edit your DNS records, add a new TXT record for SPF. This is the value you want to paste in there. Add a new DMARC record. This is also a TXT record. New TXT record, copy and paste this. Again, replace this with your email, obviously. This email will receive DMARC reports. So if you want to create an alias for it, that's fine. But replace this, don't copy this as is. And for the DKIM, you just want to, so this is more custom. Just Google DKIM setup and just follow this and set up DKIM records for each domain. So that's the process. Don't skip this. This is technical, but it's important, right? And if you're using SMTP, you don't have to do this. They'll just do it all for you. And they'll give you a CSV file with SMTP accounts that you can upload directly to Smartlead. Now, when your accounts are in Smartlead, let me just show you what that looks like. So your accounts will show up here in the email account section. This is what they will look like, right? So these are our Outlook accounts. Let me just filter for Google. Let's see, our email service provider. Let's just filter for Google. These are all of your Google accounts. So your accounts will lie in here. Again, your daily limit needs to be set to 15 per day. You always need to enable warmup and you want to warm these until warmup reputation is at 100%, right? So this is what your accounts will look like. Again, if you were to do SMTP, their limits would be different. So here you can see for SMTP, we're sending around 8 emails per day, 8 to 12. These numbers are different. With SMTPs, you're also going to get more inboxes. Again, I'm not going to make a recommendation on SMTPs because both Winner and Aerosend have their own guidelines. So you don't have to worry about that. With Google, you need to be sending 15 warm-up emails per day. Your warm-up always needs to be turned on. How do you add your accounts to Smartlead? You're going to click Connect Mailbox. You're going to choose your Smartlead's infrastructure. You won't have the private infrastructure option. We build our own infrastructure, so we've added this option for ourselves. But most people will just see Smartlead's infrastructure. Use this option if available to you. If not, use the other one. Always choose Google OAuth. It's going to ask you to log in. It's going to ask you to connect your account. Go through the steps, super straightforward, nothing fancy there. Add your accounts one by one to Smartlead. Configure them to send 15 warm-up emails per day. Wait between 2 to 4 weeks before you use your accounts to launch campaigns, right? Again, the longer is better. So just wait for at least 2 weeks and at most 4 weeks. Then after you're done, after the warm period is finished, you want to be sending 15 cold emails per day per inbox. So that's the setting I told you about. 15 cold emails per day per inbox, 15 warm-up emails per day per inbox. These are 2 different settings, the same exact value for both of those settings. Now, within your campaigns, you do not want to track open rates. Do not track open rates because that's going to hurt your deliverability. And send plain text only emails. Do not include any kind of HTML or images or links in your cold emails. That will also hurt deliverability. That will hurt your results. results. You'll get fewer sales calls, fewer clients. So that's all there is to cover about infrastructure. Again, a lot of people make this super complicated. It is not. Just make sure you have the right authentication in place and make sure you're using the correct sequencer, which is Smartlead, and you're configuring it like this. The next piece is lists, right? How do you find your list? How do you find the contacts that you need to be reaching out to? Now, because we're only focusing on local businesses, do not use LinkedIn, do not use Apollo. I know a lot of people swear by those tools. Do not use them to find your list. You're going after local businesses. The only logical place to find those businesses is Google Maps. So if you're going after roofers, roofing companies in Manhattan, right? That's what you want to search for. Go to Maps. These are the companies you're targeting, okay? So this is where it's only reasonable that you scrape companies from here. Now, how do you do it at scale? You obviously cannot scrape these companies one by one. And this is what I'm going to share tips and tricks. You can use this extension called Instant Data Scraper, right? Install it. It's going to download all of these for you. It's going to give you the rating. It's going to give you the name of the business. It's going to give you phone numbers, all of that good stuff. It's also going to give you the website. Or because this is going to take you a lot of time, you're only going to get like 20 to 50 results per Instant Data Scraper scrape. What I actually recommend doing is using something like Outscraper. And this is also ridiculously cost effective. You don't have to pay anyone to, like build this for you. You don't have to find freelancers to do this for you. Outscraper is ridiculously cost effective. This is what their pricing looks like for Google Maps scraping, right? You're going to spend $3 to get 1,000 records. Like imagine how cheap that is. If you're sending 30,000 emails a month, you're spending around $30 on this. Now, when you scrape through this, not all of these results will include email addresses. So to enrich these with email addresses, you're going to have to spend another $3 for every 1,000 records. So you're actually spending $6 for 1,000 email records. And that's okay. That's still very reasonable. Most people would charge you like 10 to 15 cents per lead. Use Outscraper for your leads. Get all of your leads using Outscraper. Another option, if you don't want to spend that second $3 to enrich these leads, is you could use something like Clay or Clay Agent, or like Apollo is great. Not for finding the right businesses, but to find the right emails, you can use Apollo. So you can use Clay, Clayagent, Apollo, or Find Email to take the domains you get from Outscraper and find emails on those domains. Again, this is not the recommended option. The easiest, simplest way to get this started, get this going. Just sign up for Outscraper and get enrichments from them, get email addresses from them. Now, before you can use these email addresses, you need to validate them. And if you've run any kind of email marketing before, you know how important validation is. So use something like Million Verifier. Let me just show you their pricing as well, so you know how much this is going to cost. We have around 4 million credits with them. Your pricing can be ridiculously inexpensive. So use Million Verifier to verify your emails before you plug them into Smartlead. The third piece, and that's all you need to do with your lead list. So go to Outscraper, scrape your list, go to Million Verifier, verify those emails, and now you're ready to launch sequences. The third piece is your email script. Again, I'm not going to make this complicated. Literally just copy and paste the script and it's going to work for you. I'm just going to walk you through what the script actually does and all of these variables that you see in here. So in your email, you're going to talk about their category. And let me just show you what some of these Outscraper lists look like, so you know what variables we're referring to. So this is one of their lists. Let's open this in a Google Sheet, or let me just download and open it. So these are all the fields you will get when you download data from Outscraper, okay? And the fields that I want to see, you'll get an email address. Again, don't use this as is. You will need to validate it. So upload this list to Million Verifier to validate your emails. But I'm going to show you the variables you get. So you get category, you get their city, you get their rating, and you get the number of reviews. The variables we are going to use in our script are rating. We're going to use the city. We're going to use the category to personalize everything. And obviously we're going to use their name, the business's name. So now going back to the script, so let's take a plumbing company in mind. Let's say you're reaching out to a plumbing company. You will say, hi, I was looking for plumbers in city. So you see, the values, these values are already present. So coffee shops, this would change to plumbers, obviously. Hi, I was looking for plumbers in city. Saw your Google stars rating. Again, your Google stars rating. So Google stars is just this rating variable. You call it Google stars, rename it, or just replace the variable with rating, up to you. Saw your 4.9 star rating. I was looking for plumbers in city and your 4.9 star rating made me want to reach out. We can outcome. Now this outcome is what we figured out here in step 1, right? So if you're reaching out to plumbing companies, I can help you get, or we can send you 10 to 15 new plumbing service requests or plumbing jobs, whatever you want to call it, whatever makes sense to your customer avatar every week, just like we did for case studies. So here you'll, again, the same social proof that we came up with, just like we did for XYZ plumbing in Chicago, without pain point. This could be without spending money on Google ads or anything else, whatever the pain point is for your ICP. So this is what your sentence is going to look like. Replace it. These are not variables for Smartlead. This is actually exactly what your script needs to be like. I've just used this here so that you know what to write in here. And then the third sentence is, are you available for a phone call on, and again, these are variables on Smartlead. So this is going to choose 2 days from today, and this is going to choose 5 days from today. So if today is Monday, it's going to say, are you available for a call on Wednesday? Or 5 days later, it's going to be 5 working days. So this variable chooses 5 working days later. So it's going to say, are you available for a call on Wednesday or Tuesday next week? That's it. So the email is literally that simple. 3 sentences. Hi, I was looking for exactly your types of businesses in exactly your city, and your rating made me want to reach out. Now, this is gonna, most people are gonna respond to this email or open this email because it's not about you, it's about them, their city, their category, their Google stars rating, and that's why we're reaching out. Next, we're connecting that to what we do. So I saw you're a plumber in this city. You have an amazing rating. That's why I'm reaching out. We can send you 10 to 25 new jobs every week, just like we did for another company in this different city. That company is very much like you because they're also a plumbing company, and you can get all of this without spending $5,000 a month on Google Ads. Are you available for a phone call? So the thing to note here is how easily the whole email body flows from talking about them to giving them value to offering them a benefit to proving we're not full of shit because we've done this for other businesses, and then asking them for a phone call if they want to learn more. My suggestion is to stick to the script. If you want to create your own scripts, use the framework, use the idea of making this flow, and to create your own scripts. At the bottom of this, don't end the email without a signature. So you want to use signature variable on Smartlead, and that's it. Now, something that you will notice here is I didn't say hi first name or hello or good morning in the beginning of the email. That's not an error, that's intentional, because with these lists, you won't always have first name. Like most of your leads will not have a first name, right? So I don't want to waste leads just because we didn't have their first name. And obviously I don't want to say, hi, Asher's Coffee or hi, XYZ Plumbing, because that does not make sense. So I would rather just skip that greeting and get right into the message, because it sounds more natural, right? When you're messaging someone from Google Maps, you just say, hey, saw your rating. Can you do a plumbing job, or can you service XYZ area, right? So that's what we want the script to look like. Again, when you're testing things, and I'm going to go again, this is something I'm going to go over in the optimization section later on the call. But when you're testing things, don't worry about changing the script. Like I said, we've run this for over 50 marketing agencies. The script always works. Don't worry about changing the script. First, focus on finding the right social proof, coming up with the right offers. Change this section, right? Change this section. Maybe your case study isn't resonating. Maybe your outcome isn't resonating. The outcome you're talking about isn't resonating. And change this section. But don't change the rest of the script. The structure does really, really well. Same thing with subject lines. Obviously, if you're not targeting plumbing companies, don't say this, but your subject line can be just these few variations. Always include these variations. So this is Spintax. So Spintax, what this does is it makes sure all of your emails use different subject lines, which means all of your emails to your ESP, to Google and to these email providers, they won't send you to the promotions tab or to the categories tab on Gmail or to the junk folder on Outlook and others if they see that all of your emails are different, right? So that's why we use Spintax. Spintax is essentially Smartlead choosing one of these 5-6 different subject lines and using that randomly in your prospects emails. So again, I want to keep this very tactical. I want to keep this, make sure that this is copy paste. So I'm not going to get into the details of Spintax and all the little things that you can do for deliverability and copy optimization. I'm just going to give you the most actionable advice here, which is literally go copy the script, modify this for your industry, and run your campaigns. So this is going to get you positive replies, right? Now you have positive replies. The next thing you want to do is convert those into appointments. So you'll get these 5 types of responses. You'll get people asking you to give them more information. You're going to get people to, giving you their phone number, asking you to call them. You're going to tell people not right now, maybe later. You're going to get people asking to unsubscribe or who are not interested. Now, anyone that responds, Smartlead will automatically not reach out to them in the future, right? So when you upload your leads to Smartlead, it's going to give you the option, it's going to automatically tell you, or it's going to ask you if you want to reach out to people that replied in the past. And you obviously have to say no to that, right? But this is all taken care of on the sequencer levels. You don't have to worry about that. All you need to worry about right now are these guys. Tell me more and yes, call me. Now, when you get these responses, the best thing to do is to call them. If you have their phone number in their signature or if they've given you their phone number, for local businesses, if you can call them immediately when they respond, 8 out of 10 cases, you'll set an appointment. You'll get them moving forward. Let's say they don't have their phone number in their email signature. In that case, you need to be replying to them ASAP. Reply to the question. If they say, tell me more, tell them what you do. Let's say a plumber responds to this saying, tell me more. Well, we've been working with plumbers in Chicago, in New Hampshire, in a couple of other states. And because of your rating, I reached out to you. We can send you 10 to 25 new plumbing service requests every week by putting you in front of customers looking for plumbing help on Google. So don't tell them you do SEO. Don't just start selling SEO services. Don't start selling marketing services over email, because then people will compare you with all of the other SEO options in the world, right? And these businesses, they get pitches from people freelancers doing SEO for $200 a month. And if you're charging $2,000 a month and you haven't had a chance to speak to them, you will not be able to effectively communicate the value you bring. So over email, just tell people that we do this by putting you in front of customers, by putting you in front of people Googling for your help. If they ask you specifically for the price, right? So let's say they ask you for the price. In that case, give them a range. So if they're asking you for the price, tell them our clients pay us anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 a month, or $1,500 to $10,000 a month, $1,500 to $15,000 a month, whatever the range is for you. Give them a range, give them a lower end, give them a higher end, and then still ask for a call. Tell them, this is the range, but if you want to find out where you would fall within that range, let's set up a call, because everything we do is very custom, and I want to make sure we recommend the best thing for you. If they ask for a price, don't dodge the question, give them a range. If not, just keep your responses focused on the outcome being 10 to 25 new plumbing service requests every week. Tell them we'll get you this by putting you in front of customers Googling for plumbing help, Googling for water leakages, Googling for toilet damage, whatever it is. Tailor that to the industry. And that's all. Keep these responses short, simple. Don't try to write 3 long paragraphs. Keep this short. Always ask for a call. That's going to work in your favor. And again, when it comes to scheduling, how to actually set appointments, you can either call them on the phone or you can use something like Calendly. I'm sure you've all heard of Calendly. If not, it's calendly.com. Or you could use cal.com, which is slightly more cost effective. So you could use cal.com as well. Just any meeting scheduler to book appointments. To sometimes when you're responding to people, you might also have to send them a response saying, hi, these are some of the times available, please choose something that works for you. Because I'm talking to marketing agency owners, I assume this is not something you're all probably familiar with all of this, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. The third step, now so far we've only secured the call, right? So if you look at this breakdown, we've done this, we've gotten these positive responses, we've secured 30 booked appointments. Now these appointments, we want to make sure these are high interest, easy to close, and warm leads, right? That's why there's a 3-step process here. And we also make sure most of them show up to the scheduled appointment. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a pre-call email sequence. That's going to be 4 emails. You're going to do pre-call SMS reminders. That's going to be 2 emails. Don't overthink this. Literally just copy and paste the script that I've put together for you. Don't make this super complicated. The only thing that you need to customize is 24 hours before the call. You want to send them bullet points of your case studies. And immediately after, when they book an appointment with you, you want to immediately send them an email asking them to confirm their appointment. Say, hi, FirstName, looking forward to meeting you on event date. Can you please respond to this email if you see this in your inbox? Because sometimes people don't receive calendar invites. Can you please respond to this email if you see the calendar invite on your calendar? That's all. Get them to reply, get them to commit to the appointment. Super critical. We've seen this boost appointment rates by as much as 50% for some of our clients. Get them to reply to confirm their appointments. Very important. Now, if you wanted to improve your results from this, or if you wanted to make this even fancier, you wanted to warm leads up, you can do this. In the same thread that you used to book appointments with them, you can schedule an email for the day of the call, asking them, send them a case study and ask them if they've seen your case study breakdown, right? So as soon as you book an appointment, send them a case study that's relevant to their business. This is how you'll warm the leads up. This is how you'll tell them that you are an expert, you know your shit. Send them that in the same email thread, wherever you're having this conversation, wherever they ask you to call them or ask for price or ask you to tell them more, send them that case study in that same thread. This could be a case study video, this could be a case study blog post on your website. The important thing here is it has to be with a business very similar to them. That's how they're going to build trust. And this is going to help you because the next time when they meet you on this call, when you're actually selling to them, your discovery calls are going to flow much smoother because they've already seen the kind of work you do. They already know who you are. They're going to be more willing to engage with you in this conversation. Now let's talk about the sales process. I recommend splitting your sales process, dividing it into 2 parts. One is a discovery call and the other one is a proposal call. Most of these agencies we work with, very few of them have a 1 call close, and the ones that do 1 call closes, they have pricing around $399. If you're selling something that's less than $1,000 per month or $1,000 total, yes, you can close them on a single call. For anything that's more than $1,000, I recommend doing 2 call closes. So the first call is going to be a discovery or an introductory conversation. Here's how you would structure it. Spend the first 3 minutes for building rapport. So this is going to be, hey, where are you calling from? How was your day? This is what we do, just introductions. Actually, 3 minutes is actually overkill. Just do 2 minutes to break the ice. Then set the frame and the agenda. So this is going to be another 2 minutes. The frame and the agenda is, okay, appreciate you jumping on. I know we've been going back and forth over email, talking about how we could get you 15 to 25 service requests in the next month. What I want to do on this call today is understand how your business works, what kinds of customers you work with, and how you're currently getting leads, so that I can make sure we get you the best kinds of leads possible, or we get you the right kinds of leads, right? So you want to frame the call, tell them that you're going to be the ones asking them questions, explain why you need to ask those questions so that you can give them the best possible solution, and set the agenda. This is important. If you don't do this, people will try to derail your calls. They'll try to, take control of the conversation. Just tell me the price. Or you don't want to be the one answering questions here on the discovery call. You want to be the one asking those questions. Then after you've set the agenda, go into your discovery. This is going to take around 15 minutes. Again, discovery is simple. You just want to be establishing three things. What is their current state? What is their desired state? And what's missing? Where are they at right now? How many leads are they getting? What does the business look like? How much money are they making? What is their desired state? How many leads do they want to be getting? How much money do they want to be making? And again, this is not always going to be about money. Sometimes it's going to be like, you know what, I have some staff members, they don't have enough time, they don't have enough work. Sometimes it's going to be like, yeah, I really want to grow right now, but I cannot. I want to open another location. I want to open another location in another city. So that's why I keep this broad, so as to not give you scripts that won't work for your industry. But you want to find out where they're at right now. You want to find out where they want to go. And then you want to spend time digging out what's missing, right? Why are you not already at the desired state? What have you tried to get to desired state? What worked, what did not work? Have you been burnt in the past? What kinds of challenges have you faced in getting from current to the desired state? This is a gold mine of information, because when you're done with discovery, you want to say exactly this. You want to recap everything to them, and you want to tie it to your solution. So you want to go from current state to desired state, but cannot because of, and then you talk about all of the reasons they gave you. Because of XYZ pain points, because you've never had the time to do marketing and you hired a couple of agencies, they didn't really work out and you ended up wasting a lot of money. These are two examples of pain points you'll uncover. Then you'd say, based on what we've seen working with other plumbers, right? And again, this has to be personalized. That's why it's important for you to understand what they do. And to everything you say, it has to sound like the perfect solution made for them. You're selling custom fitted suits, right? You're not selling something off the shelf, selling custom fitted suits. So everything has to be personalized to them. Based on what we've seen working with other plumbers or other roofing companies that want to get into the residential space, and this is your solution, right? So doing search engine optimization or investing in search engine optimization will get you 10 to 25 additional service calls every week, reasonably within 60 to 90 days or whatever the time frame is. And this is again your pain point. So which will ensure all of your people have enough work to do, which makes sure you're not spending money on Google Ads, so you won't get burned like you did in the past, and which will ensure that you are able to get to the desired state, which is open a new location, double your business, make more money, get financially stable, move in with your girlfriend, whatever it is for them. Just connect it to everything you uncovered. This is very important. Do this before you ask for a call. Would you like me to tell you more about how that works? Get their permission. After they give you permission, tell them about what you're going to do, just high level. Don't get into the details, just tell them high level. You see, every day in your city, there's 10,000 people looking for roofer near me every day. All we need to do is, of those 10,000, if we could get you 1% of those people booking calls with you or coming to you, how much bigger would your business be, right? And this is exactly what you want to show them on the first call, so that they can tangibly see the potential of working with you. You tell them there's 10,000 people looking for these kinds of keywords in your city every day. If I could just get you 1%, 2%, 5% of these people, how much bigger would your business be? And then they start thinking in their head, oh, he is right. If I could get 5% of these people, I would be making so much more money. And then you tell them, so that's exactly what we're going to do. And the next time we meet, I'm going to bring you a full plan, a whole end-to-end plan that shows you exactly how we're going to do that. This is going to get them excited. And then, before we proceed to book that second session in, I'd like to confirm two things, if that's okay with you. One, budget, two, timelines. Ask them if it's okay. Don't just get into the question. Ask them, is it okay if we get into that now? Most people would be more than happy to do this because they don't want want to waste their time either, right? Confirm budget. Don't just say it's going to cost X. Frame the budget question properly. Say, if I showed you a solution that takes you from current state to desired state, again, personalized to everything you uncovered, current state to desired state, and that has already worked for other plumbing companies like yours, but it costs your price, roughly, ballpark, right? This has to be a range that has worked for other plumbing companies like yours, and they were spending between $1,500 to $5,000 a month. Would that align with your current cash flow or marketing budget? Say it exactly like this. Now, at this point, they might just say, yeah, that's fine. Perfect. So now they're comfortable with anything between 15 to 5,000, and most cases, they're likely comfortable with the upper end of the range, which means you can pitch them the right package. If they say, yeah, you know what, I think on the lower end should be okay for us, now they're probably looking to spend between 1,500 to 2,500, not the 5,000. When you do the proposal, I would still include the 5,000 plan in your proposal, because now that's an anchor. Like, that anchor will make them think, oh, you know what, for 5,000 I'm getting all of that, and for 2,500 he's also giving me 70% of that, so 2,500 is a good deal, right? So always include a higher package. That's a pricing tip. But yeah, essentially, so you're going to get their budget, and then after they agree to the budget, ask them what the timeline would look like. So if the implementation steps make sense to you, when are you looking to kick this off? And if they say, oh, next year or in 6 months or in 3 months time, do not do the proposal right now. Tell them, okay, you know what, if it's going to take 3 months, let's meet 2 months later when you're closer to the actual implementation. And if everything makes sense to you at that time, we'll do the proposal then. And the reason for this is because, SEO changes very quickly. The numbers that I just showed you, those could be very different 2 months down the line. So just to make sure we're getting you the most current implementation plan, let's do the proposal 2 months down the line. We confirm both of these, and then you book a call. Always, always, always book an appointment on the calendar. Whenever you're getting off a call, always book the next call. The second call is going to be proposal and closing. So this will be very custom to whatever it is that you offer that you think will make sense for them. So on this call, you might be presenting a keyword analysis, a website audit, an SEO audit, competitor analysis. Again, really depends on that client situation, so I can't tell you what to present. But the goal with the proposal call is to take the outcome that they gave you, the desired state, the current state, position your proposal as bridging the gap between the current state and the desired state, tie everything that you propose to the outcomes that they wanted, okay? So everything you're selling has to be tied to their desired state. It should directly translate into how they are going to get closer to their desired state. Show your case studies, show other businesses you've worked with, show social proof on your proposal. Before you get into the audit, tell them, these are the 10 different businesses that have had success with our system. Tell them what it's like to work together. Make them envision, make them imagine working with you. Tie everything to KPIs, and then do an ROI projection before you get into the pricing options. When you're doing pricing, always present 2 to 3 options. One option is going to be so expensive they're never going to buy it, and the other 2 options are their real op, where they're going to choose one or the other. So use the third option to frame your main 2 options. Use the third option as a price anchor. And some people, 5-10% of your prospects might actually be interested in the highest priced option, which is great, so it's a much worse, like, it's a terrible sales mistake. It's bad to not be able to sell someone. Okay, and I'll repeat this because it's worth repeating. Always, always, always book a follow-up call. After you're done with the proposal, let's say they say everything makes sense. They say they need a day to think about it. They might sound super excited. They might not sound super excited. They might say, I need to bring in my director, my president, whatever it is. Always book a follow-up call 2 days later, 3 days later, whenever it makes sense to them. Do not leave an appointment without an appointment on the calendar, because then that just leaves a lot of uncertainty, and that allows people the opportunity to forget about you, right? If you're on their calendar, they will not forget about you. So always book a follow-up call at the end of your proposals. Next up is KPIs and optimization. So I've gone over the entire system. This is exactly what you need to do. 4 steps. These are 4 steps. So you're going to first, foundations, decide who you're going after, decide what is it that you're going to sell to them. This is going to be based on your social proof. Next, put your offer in front of them, book appointments with them. Next, qualify these leads, warm them up so that they are easier to close. Finally, sell to them and close them. Now, this system, if you do everything like I said, it is going to work for you if you want to optimize, because again, like with all marketing, it's always a game of optimization and continuing to improve. These are the KPIs you want to be looking at. So your reply rates, overall campaign reply rates, and I'm going to show you examples of campaigns we're running for some of our clients. Let's see, I'm going to pull up Smartlead. Let's go to email campaigns. So this is one of our clients. You'll see some of the numbers they're hitting. Yeah, so we ran a couple of campaigns before. This is targeting locksmiths. So this client, locksmiths and moving companies. With moving companies, they got 7 positive replies out of 451 emails sent, 8 positive replies out of 1492, 28 out of 3736. So this industry is doing really well for this particular client, and it's locksmiths. Your results might vary. Your results might not always be as good as they are here. Like I said, we've been doing this for a while, so we understand what industries, what offers work. But the KPIs that you want to be going for are much more conservative. So you want your reply rates to be over 2%. You want to be getting 1 positive response for less than 500 leads contacted. You want to be getting 1 booked call for less than 1000 leads contacted. And you want your close rate on those calls to be 20% or more. Now, if you're not hitting this KPI, let's say your reply rates are less than 2%, that's likely an infrastructure problem. Make sure you set up the DNS records correctly. Make sure you have the SPF, DKIM, DMARC records set up correctly. You have enabled warmup. Make sure you're sending plain text only emails, no HTML, no links, no images. Ensure that if your reply rates are below 2%, it is very likely that this is an infrastructure issue. Here's what you need to do. Make sure your warmup is always enabled. You're sending an equal number of warm and cold emails every day. Make sure all of your domains have SPF, DKIM, DMARC records set up all the time. Make sure you're using fresh senders. If you're using fresh senders, your reply rate should always be over 2%. If you've been using your senders for 3 to 6 months, those senders would have gotten old, which means that people have been marking those senders as spam, which means you need to replace your domains. If it's taking you more than 5,000 prospects contacted to get 1 positive response, you need to fix your offer or targeting. Reword your social proof, reword your offer, or reach out to a different industry. Don't mess with the scripts that I've given you. The scripts are proven to work, so just don't worry about the scripts itself. Just focus on switching industries or switching up your offer. If it's taking you more than 1,000 prospects contacted to get 1 phone call, get 1 booked appointment, you know it's not a problem with your offer or targeting because you're getting enough positive replies, but you're just not converting enough of them into appointments. You need to be working on how quick reply to people within 5 minutes of them responding. Call people, not just once, call them thrice a day on the day they respond, right? Phone them, try to get them to book appointments. Those are the 2 highest leverage actions you can do to increase the number of appointments you book from your positive replies. And if your close rate is less than 20%, make sure you follow this process up here. This process has been proven to work. Dozens of agencies use this process. We've advised people to shift their process to this. You'll get 20% plus close rates, right? If you're not having these close rates, focus on your social proof. Maybe you're not uncovering the right pain points. Maybe you're pricing it too high or pricing your services but not tying them to the outcome. Or maybe you're not following up enough after you send people, after you do the proposal call. So fix each of those issues. And that's really all there is to optimization. Don't overcomplicate this. If you look this up on the internet, if you look at people on YouTube giving you different types of advice, they'll give you lots of complicated workflows for optimizing results. What I've presented here is specific to local marketing agencies. This is exactly what we do for our clients. This is exactly how we fix underperforming campaigns. Don't overcomplicate this. Just take my advice here and implement it. Back to results you can expect. Again, I told you how Stephen closed a deal. Then there's Scott sending messages on Slack, closing deals again. There's another one of our clients talking about some clients that he's signed. Another one closing deals. This one closing 2 deals in 1 week. So this system is proven to work. Like if you're still doubting whether or not the system will work for you, I can promise you if you do everything exactly like I said you should, you will sign clients. You will book sales calls. You will sign clients. It is impossible that you don't because so many other agencies have done it. And these are agencies of all sizes. Some agencies, if you go to our website and if you watch some of the video testimonials, you have agencies charging $15,000 a month retainers and you have agencies selling $299 a month packages, right? And it works. The process works for all of them. So just do everything I've told you and you will get results. Like look at this campaign. We follow the exact same playbook. Started with this client just last month. Today is the 1st of September. We started with them last month and look at the results they've been getting, right? The first few campaigns, they've gotten 8 plus 7, 15 plus 28, like 43 positive responses out of what, like 1,200, or maybe 4,000-ish leads contacted. So that's 1 positive response for every 100 people that they reach out to. How cool is that, right? So if you want results like these, I've given you the whole system. I hope you found value from this webinar. I hope, really hope that you're going to go back and implement this. Again, just sitting on this recording is not going to do anything. Please go back, implement this system. And if you're really constrained on time and you want us to do it all for you, we will run the system for you. We will even guarantee 10 to 30 sales calls per month with local businesses. And if that's something you want to explore, please book a call here. Now, I must warn you, working with us is not cheap. We've been in this space for 5-6 years. We are guaranteeing outcomes for you. We are guaranteeing sales calls because we know the process works. We are always on the cutting edge of everything that's working. And if you want to leverage our expertise, it's not going to be cheap. You're looking at low four figures in investment. But if that's something you're comfortable with and you want us to do it all for you, go to this link, book a call with our team, and we're going to build a system. We're going to guarantee you 10 to 30 sales calls every month. You're going to close those calls at 20%. You're going to sign 3 to 6 new clients every month. You're going to grow your business. And that's all for this recording. Hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the chat and I'm going to go over those one by one.